Welcome to the Butterfly Effect. I'm Chris Horner. This is stage 8 of the Vuelta a España 2025. If you went to bed last night, you know if you looked at the profile that this is one for the sprinters. We're talking about the third opportunity here for the big-time sprinters at the Vuelta to be able to grab themselves a stage victory. So far, we saw Jasper Philipsen win stage 1, but we saw Ed Toons, his lead-out man, mess up in the last 125, 150 meters ago when he didn't move right through that chicane that was to the left. And we saw Philipsen have to settle for second on the stage as Ben Turner from Ineos took his first victory here at the Vuelta a España. Those were the first two sprint stages. Now we come into the third one here. When the cameras come on, we're going to see three riders up the road. We got Jean Beau there from Caja Rural. We got Sergio Samitier from Cofidis and Luis Farah there from Burgos BH. These guys are going to get their gap up to about 4 minutes on the peloton behind. We look back there. It's Alpecin de Koenig, Lidl Trek, and Premier Tech riding the front. They're holding these guys tight as Premier Tech have Ethan Vernon, Alpecin de Koenig, Jasper Philipsen, and of course Mads Pedersen's Lidl Trek, which we should all know. As the group of the peloton back there is driving it, we're going to take a look at Mads Pedersen with about 110, 112 kilometers to go. Mads Pedersen's back there, and I want to discuss why he's having some issues, possible issues here, of course, at the Tour of Spain. We saw him win multiple stages at the Giro d'Italia in 2025, so what's happening here? Well, first off, the biggest thing is when you get into the races, you can make mistakes at the beginning, in the middle, but the closer you get to the finish, you can't make mistakes. So we see when we start looking at Mads Pedersen and we see that uphill classic finish that was on stage 3, and we know Mads Pedersen had Ciccone leading him out, just going too hard. Then we saw the FDJ rider when Mads Pedersen needed to take a breath with about 75 meters to go before they went in that right turn. And we know David Gaudu shot up the inside and won himself a stage for FDJ. That was because Ciccone went too hard, too close to the finish. Remember, you can make mistakes at the beginning, the end, but the closer you get to the finish, the more it has to be precise, just like we saw with Edward Planker and Jasper Philipsen with 125 meters to go. When Edward Planker needed to move over, he didn't. Ben Turner came through and grabbed that stage too. So that's the main reason, is mistakes done too close to the finish line for riders to be able to overcome it. We saw the same thing with Ciccone 2 and Lidl Trek on that stage 2 where they just did too much work. Okay, now some of the other possible examples of reasons why Mads Pedersen hasn't been able to win the flatter sprint stages. Well, flatter sprint stages, those are a little bit easier to understand because why? Lidl Trek is missing the main lead out guys that Mads Pedersen's used to using. Here, when we start talking about the Tour of Spain, Søren Kragh Andersen and Dan Uhl are the only two sprinter-type lead-out guys that they have on the team. And Dan Uhl really doesn't go deep into the sprint train. He usually goes into about 1.5, but does a bunch of kilometers before there. Søren Kragh Andersen doesn't normally go deep into a real sprinter stage either, but he's got some speed, and it can be done with Søren Kragh Andersen. But you're only talking about one guy with speed and then Mads Pedersen. So that's leaving Mads a little bit short because why? He's missing Simone Consoni. He's missing Alex Kirsch. He's missing Jasper Stuyvens, and he's missing Ed Toons. Those are his main lead-out guys, but those guys have been robbed or stolen by Johnny Milan, who's done the Tour de France. So we know Johnny Milan's their pure sprinter. The classic sprinter is Mads Pedersen. So that's the problem he's having right here. Bad timing, mistakes, and then not exactly the best lead-out train you can hope for. All right, we go further into the stage. I'll take you up in the sprint point competition where we see Sergio Samitier grab maximum points. He grabs points and a little bit of cash. Then behind in the field sprint, Mads Pedersen grabs fourth, grabs some more green jersey points. This is going to be important at the intermittent sprints. So with Mads Pedersen grabbing some points, with the peloton getting some more time back on the 3 breakaway guys, I'm going to fast forward you into about 30 kilometers to go when the peloton's getting a little more nervous because they're going to come into 28 kilometers to go soon. And this is the final town here with 28 kilometers to go on stage 8. It's a circuit for the last 23 kilometers. It's going to be nervous from now on throughout the stage, and the gap's going to be down to about 1 minute with the peloton going curb to curb. We look up front, we come into the finish line with 23 kilometers to go. We see Lewis is getting dropped. Just afterwards, Sergio's throwing in some tacks there on Jean Beau from Caja Rural, and as he brings him back, they go into the feed zone, and then Jean Beau there is grabbing a water bottle out of his bike as Sergio Samitier is throwing in an attack on him full gas, so he's got to put the bottle down. Jean Beau's got to go back over there and start getting back on the wheel, and he follows him, but the peloton's hot on their heels. They're going to wrap these guys up at 17 kilometers to go. Now we come into 15 kilometers to go, and 15 to 14 is a little bit of a crazy section here, but it's been nervous throughout the peloton. We look at the back of the peloton, we see who's back there. Jay Vine's back there, and Ayuso's back there with 15 kilometers to go. Really? 15 kilometers to go? You two are going to be back there when you have Almeida sitting second on the general classification? This is shameful at this moment if you're UAE Team Emirates. You ride for the #1 ranked team in the world. This has been an easy stage. It even posted up on Jay Vine's Strava account. He said it was an easy day here at the Vuelta a España, and these guys are sitting at the back while they got second on the general classification. We go up and look at the front of the peloton. Alpecin de Koenig's been at the front of the peloton, or getting there with 14 kilometers to go. They got 6 guys at the front at least. Visma Lease Bike's done a fantastic job because my man Camp's been on the front, and Dylan Van Barley's been doing a good job too. So Visma Lease Bike's been riding fantastic throughout this stage 8. We back the film up just a hair to get the helicopter angle because I want to show you what's happening. We look at Lidl track. They're a little bit disorganized. They got 4 guys on the right side. They got Mads Pedersen, Soren Kragh Andersen stuck in the middle. And then when we start comparing UAE Team Emirates, well, they got guys at the front, I'll call it 4, and they got 2 in the middle. The riders in the middle, there has to be Almeida, one of those riders, and then 2 riders at the back. Well, I already told you those guys, Jay Vine and Ayuso back there at the back of the peloton, sandbagging it. As they're sitting at the back of the peloton, we're coming into about 11 kilometers to go as we see who's at the back getting dropped right now. Oh, that's Ayuso getting dropped right now with 11 kilometers to go. Really, you're going to drop off at 11 kilometers to go with Almeida sitting second on the general classification, and the course just got real because they left the neighborhoods, and now they're going up this bump of a climb that's got a little bit of curve to it. Up front, UAE Team Emirates are up there, but Almeida's still not at the front of the peloton with his teammates. And we look over to the left, of course, we got Visma Lease Bike in the picture, Alpecin de Koenig's in the picture. They got guys drilling it up there, and Q36.5's drilling it up this bump as they're leaving the town that they got to come back into. We get up to the top with about 9 kilometers to go. Things are still curb to curb. They're getting interesting. And then with 8.9 kilometers to go, Alpecin start losing some teammates. They'll lose the first rider. I'll call this rider Oscar Riesbeck as he's dropping out of the picture with just under 9 kilometers to go. That's going to leave us 4 Alpecin de Koenig riders at the front. Visma Lease Bike still have a ton of riders on the left side. So Jonas Vingegaard right now still in good position. As Visma Lease Bike's fighting to stay at the front of the peloton, Alpecin de Koenig's there, as I already mentioned. We start coming just a little bit deeper into just under 5 kilometers to go. Now things are getting really interesting because Visma Lease Bike's starting to leave the front of the peloton. Alpecin de Koenig's still in good position. We come under 4, about 3.8 kilometers to go. Lotto is on the front. They're drilling it. Guys, they got 5 riders on the front. Intermarché is up here, and Alpecin is sitting on the back wheel there with Lotto Destiny. With these riders drilling in on the front, I'm going to bring you up into just about 3.3 kilometers to go when we see the trees. Once we get past the trees, at 3 kilometers to go, we're going in these right turns and we see the cops. The cops are holding all the fans back, flying the flag there as the cop has to step out of the way on the right side turn there. He steps out of the way. The peloton's flying through here with Lotto Destiny and Intermarché. Then they got to make the left. Look at the cop on the left corner there. He's walking his way off the course as quickly as he can, trying to hold everything back. And then Lotto Destiny flies through with Intermarché. Alpecin de Koenig still at the front of the peloton. As they're drilling it at the front with Intermarché, it's Premier Tech that comes into the picture at 2.3. As they're coming in the picture, so is Michael Kwiatkowski and Ben Turner on the right side of the peloton. We go up a little bit further into 1.8. Lotto Destiny's drilling it on the front of the peloton, and we're looking at the overhead picture there with Alpecin de Koenig, Lotto Destiny with 4, Premier Tech with 4 riders. Mads Pedersen solo and Cofidis have 2. That's Annie Olakowski there from Cofidis and Brian Cocard, but they're separated and not working well together. So Mads Pedersen's in a good spot. Now we come into 1.4 kilometers to go. We see Filippo Ganna coming in the picture. He's coming up the right side wicked fast. He comes up, Michael Kwiatkowski, Ben Turner's his teammate, Team Ineos. As Ganna's flying up the right side, Michael Kwiatkowski's getting a little squeezed off, and Ben Turner is too. So this tactic doesn't look like it's working out just right for Filippo Ganna, but Ben Turner's going to find himself a way out on the right side. He's going to find himself eventually up there to Filippo Ganna's wheel, but Michael Kwiatkowski is going to get a little squeeze. As that was happening, we look over to the left side. We see Mads Pedersen was flying up the left side to get himself into good position because we got a left turn coming up at 1.3 kilometers to go. As the Peloton reaches this left turn, we see that it's Intermarché's got one rider on the front. Lotto Destiny has three. Ganna's there. Ben Turner's on his wheel. And we look behind them. It's Jaco Alula there. That's on solid position. Then it's a couple riders from Albacete de Koning, Jonas Rickert, and Ed Plankert. The problem is what happened if we back the film up just a hair. We see that Jasper Philipsen got squeezed off by Q36.5 and Premier Tech as he was coming into this left turn. So now when they exit out and we look at the back in about 25th position, that's Jasper Philipsen. This is a big time problem right now. We're coming into 1.2 kilometers to go. Now Jasper Philipsen's going to have to start doing some work up front. But when we go up front to the very front, we see Intermarché's got one rider on the front. I'll call this rider Simone Patelli right here. Problem is, though, he left his teammates behind. It started to get crazy back there when Simone Patelli started going to the front and got in front of the Lotto Destiny three-rider train. He starts pulling, but he's lost his sprinter back there, Marit. As the sprinter's getting lost, Patelli's throwing everything into it. We go back and look again where Jasper Philipsen is. Guys, he's sitting in about 20th, 25th position. He's in big time trouble now, and we're coming deep into stage 8. So if you make mistakes deep, what happens? You got to pay for it at the end of the stage, and you lose out. But Jasper Philipsen's got a little more time left, but it's running out of sand. As Jasper Philipsen's going to start to panic there, we're going to go up to the front and look at Lotto Destiny's throwing in some power on the pedals when we see Intermarché start to blow at 1.1 kilometer to go. We'll call it 1K under the banner. As Intermarché, Simone's pulling off, Lotto Destiny's throwing in a huge acceleration. Ineos are just behind the wheel there of the Q36 rider, Fabio. And we see that Filippo Ganna has done a good job of holding Ben Turner in a good position. We look further behind him. We see that it's Jaco and then Albacete sitting in about 10th and 11th position with Mads Pedersen just behind him. So we go up to about 875 meters to go. Filippo Ganna is starting to blow at this moment. As Filippo Ganna's pulling off to the right side, Jonas Rickert has to start hitting out at 600 meters. Jonas Rickert's hitting out, and he's got Edward Plankert on his wheel, but there's no Jasper Philipsen. Where's Jasper at? Guys, he's getting boxed in still at the back, but he's got a little more time left. He's running out of time. It's getting crucial. As we come up to 525 meters to go, the left bend, Lotto Destiny, Jonas Rickert, Edward Plankert at the front. As they start exiting out, we see it's now 500 meters to go. Ben Turner's throwing in an attack. As Ben Turner's attacking up the left side, on the right side, Ethan Vernon's getting ready to start his attack, and then he looks over to the right and realizes that he catches something out of the corner of his eye. It's Jasper Philipsen coming around the right side at 450 meters to go. So Ethan Vernon sits back down, and he's going to follow behind Jasper Philipsen as Jasper Philipsen closes up onto the back wheel of Brian Coquard, who's on the back wheel of Mads Pedersen. Up front, it's going a little bit wide. You got Ben Turner up there. You got Lotto Destiny and Albacete de Koning going full gas, and we're coming into 375 meters to go as Jonas Rickert starts to blow. Once he blows, we see that the next rider, Edward Planker's hitting out. Guys, he's hitting out hard, but Jasper Philipsen's still not on his wheel, but he's found himself in a good position, but we're running out of time. We're coming into the last bend with about 210 meters to go. We look at the overhead picture. Jasper Philipsen has started to come around the right side because Brian Coquard has started his attack. As Brian Coquard started his attack, he's coming over the outside there of Mads Pedersen, over the top of him with Jasper Philipsen. Brian Coquard comes out, continues to spread. Jasper Philipsen slots onto the back wheel of Viviani. Viviani has started his sprint. Now we're coming into about 190 meters, 180 meters to go. Viviani starts his sprint. Edward Plankert's still at the front, though. He's going full gas at the front. Then Edward Plankert's head drops. It drops down. I can only imagine at this point in time, at about 150 meters to go to 125 meters to go, when the head there of Edward Plankert drops down, he's looking under under his arm and he realizes it's Viviani he sees and not Jasper Philipsen. So Edward Plankert sits up and does what? This is happening at about 100 meters, 110 meters to go. We look at Edward Plankert sitting up, looking over to the right. What does he see? He sees Elia Viviani, the Italian rider from Lotto. They're sprinting. Just behind him, he sees the sprinter, Jasper Philipsen. He doesn't know how he got there or what happened back there, but at this moment, he's going to fix all the mistakes that went wrong. When he looks right and he sees his teammate, he knows he's got to go left, so his bike starts to go left. Once it starts to go left hard, Viviani, the sprinter from Lotto's, going left. Why is he going left? Well, he wants to get everybody off his wheel, but they got rules for this. As Viviani's going hard left, so's Edward Plankert. Plankert's moving to the left, and this is going to shut down the sprint of the Cofidis rider, Annie Olkowski back there that was coming fast up the left side, but now he blocks him off. At the same time he was blocking him off, look as we see the thread of the needle there at about 75 meters to go from Jasper Philipsen. Philipsen's made it to the left side of Viviani. Viviani's still moving to the left. He's moving all the way to the left with 50 meters to go. Then he holds up at about 40, 30 meters to go, and at 25 meters to go, Jasper Philipsen is even and side by side there with Viviani, and they start rubbing elbows. It's going to be a tight one. When we look all the way on the right side, it's going to be real tight because Ethan Vernon and Marit there from Intermarché are coming up the right side in the center of the road. It's going to be a tight battle coming all the way into 5 meters to go. When it's a bike throw, first we see Jasper Philipsen throw it. Then we see Viviani throw it too, who just left enough space for Jasper Philipsen to thread the needle on the left side. Then we look over on the right side there coming up the center of the road. Ethan Vernon's throwing his bike. Marit's throwing his bike from Intermarché. It's a four-way toss. When we look from the side view, though, we know for sure that, of course, the Alpecin de Koenig rider Jasper Philipsen won today's stage. But we also know, or if you're sitting on the Chesterfield like I do, you gotta believe that Lotto Viviani's got to get DQ'd or relegated on today's stage for going from the center of the road all the way to the right. Well, he will get relegated. So we see Ethan Vernon grab second on the stage. Arnie Marit there from Intermarché grabbed third. And when we start talking about Mads Pedersen, well, Mads Pedersen fell back to 11th spot on today's stage. Now I want to show one highlight of Mads Pedersen coming down the straightaway. Remember, it's only 190 meters long. Mads Pedersen's in the center of the road, then he's all the way over to the left side of the road, then he's all the way over to the center of the road, so you know it was a chaotic sprint, curb-to-curb madness with a four-way bike throw to finish it off. But Jasper Philipsen gets the win here for his second victory at the 25 Tour of Spain Stage 8. Fantastic job for Alpecin de Koenig's Jasper Philipsen and Edward Plankert. I called you a knucklehead on stage 4 for not moving over to the right. But today, when you sat up and looked and you saw Jasper Philipsen coming fast to the left, you moved over at the right time, even so much so where I'm pretty certain Jasper Philipsen hesitated to sprint just a hair. Then he saw you move over, then Jasper Philipsen continued it, and Viviani, of course, held up just with a bike with bars there on the left side of the fencing so that Jasper Philipsen still had a shot to come through and try to win today's stage, which he did. But the officials, the UCI officials, still relegate Viviani to the last place on today's stage 8. Congratulations, Jasper Philipsen, for winning your second stage here, the 25 Vuelta a España. If they were correct on the show I was watching, this was your 15th Grand Tour stage victory. So congratulations, already winning a ton early in your career. Now, when it comes to Brian Cocard, for some reason they relegated Brian Cocard too, but I didn't see why on the stage, so we'll have to find out later when we see tomorrow's morning press release. Like and subscribe. I'll see you guys for the next adventure for Stage 9 when we get back into the mountains. And remember, the race leader's red jersey, Torsten Treyen, finished safely in the front group of today's stage, so he's still holding 2 minutes and 33 seconds over Jonas Vingegaard in second place. Like and subscribe. I'll see you guys real soon for Stage 9 of the Vuelta a España.